So many years ago, maybe 30 years ago, I decided that in chinuch that anyone who asks me a question, I have to treat them like my own kid. And sometimes girls are very upset about my answer. I had this one girl that was much older, and she was going out with this guy, and she really liked him, and they went out to this bar, not a bar, but whatever, for drinks, whatever. It's called Windows of the World. It's on the Marriott. Goes around very slowly. It's a good dating place. And she came back and she said, well, see, something happened last night. It bothered me. I'm like, what happened? She said, he ordered 2 sodas, 2 Diet Cokes, whatever, and it was $12 each. It's a lot. And he was like, what? When he got the bill, the waitress came over. He said, it's $12 each. He said, what? Plus tax, $26 for 2, what? So he didn't tip her. On the bottom it says tip. He's supposed to give 20%. He wrote 0. And he gave her back his credit card with the slip. And she said, excuse me, did you forget the tip? He says, $25, I'm not tipping. And she made a face, and she went back into wherever they go, and she said, is that like a big deal, Rabbi Wallerstein? Like, I really like him, and she's an older girl. I'm like, I am going to blow this up, and I'm really sorry. No, over my dead body would I let my daughter marry this guy. I would break it right now. What? I'm like, 2 things just happened. One, he made a huge chil Hashem. Sitting there with a yarmulke, taking out his father's credit card, right? This girl's a waitress, probably trying to go through college. They don't get paid. They only make tips. I'm like, where's your Beinon Machavero? So you tip her $4. The thing's a $20 bill. It's $4 a tip. You're using your father's credit card anyway. So he wasn't worried about Chil Hashem. Jews, cheap, all that stuff. What you can tell the friends. And on top of that, like, he has no appreciation for the waitress. I said, you're going to become his waitress one day. You're going to cook for him and doing everything. And he's going to say, like, that's your job. Like, I don't owe you any thanks. She's like, I don't know. He's not really like that. I'm like, listen to me. Go ask another rabbi. If you're asking me, over. There's nothing to talk about. And she broke it up. So sometimes people don't like when I answer, but I feel very much that Hashem's question, anyone in chinuch, any teacher, any principal, and there's a lot of people going to be in a lot of trouble. A lot of people in a lot of trouble. Hashem's going to ask, did you treat my daughters like they were yours? And if the answer is yes, you're going to sit in Gan Eden in the highest place. If the answer is no, trap door is going to open. You're going to be barbecued. Like, why are you treating my children differently than your own children? So I made up 30 years ago, maybe more, with Rabbi Gamliel that any kid I deal with in chinuch, that's my daughter. For that moment, that's my daughter. I'm not giving her my bank account, but for that question, that's my daughter. That's a responsibility that anyone in chinuch has to take, or don't do it. And I spoke about this in the Torah Masorah convention, and I said, guys, if you're a Rebbe or a principal, and you're not doing that, quit. What do you need it for? Go make money. And I walked out, and this one Rebbe followed me to the car. He said, Rebbe Wallerstein, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not teaching anymore. After you said that, I am not teaching anymore. I am not taking that responsibility. And I said, you're the one guy that should keep the job. If it bothers you that much, you're the guy that needs to keep the job. It's responsibility when you work with people. I had a group of therapists. I asked them, from religious therapists I spoke to. I'm like, so you do therapy, you help people? Yeah. I said, like, how many of those people you know their Hebrew name and their mother's Hebrew name, and at night they went through trauma, they're depressed, they're anxious, they're cutting, they're not eating, whatever it is, so they're not doing very well. How many of them you say Tehillim for? Before you go to sleep at night? How many of them are in your Tehillim book? How many of them are in your siddur that you say Shemona Esrei, and they were looking at me like I was from Mars, like, I'm a therapist. I'm like, no. If someone comes to you and you're trying to help them, and they have to be like your child, would you say Tehillim for your child? This girl's traumatized. She's not eating. She's cutting. She like if that was your child, would you not daven? Would you not go to tzaddikim for brachas? Manashtana. They're like, whoa. And a lot of them took the names and they daven for them. Very big responsibility. to deal with Hashem's children.